This is Irontrader, and this is Midday Trading. Today, we're going to do something just a little bit different here. We're going to take a look at the actual commodity versus the ETF. Okay, so first of all, take a look at crude oil, and then UCO, the ETF, natural gas, and then UNG, gold, and then GLD, silver, SLV, and then Bitcoin, BITX. Okay, all right. This video is for information purposes only, non-recommendation buy, so stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Okay, here we have crude oil, and here we have the UCO. That's the long that I trade, okay? Now, the key to trading ETFs, always remember ETFs rebalance at the end of the day, and a lot of times they depreciate, kind of a situation. So what you always want to do, I mean always, is chart the actual and trade the actual crude oil in this case, okay? The actual commodity, okay? So I'm going to show you exactly. Okay, so you can see where crude oil here is. We had this little higher low here. We made a high there of 68.58. Yesterday we made that high of 68.65. So we have an inside day. Now you can see here where you went right into that 200-day 68.40 level, okay? Now next level going up here, we'd be looking at the top of that 68.94 level. And then we can come up here to your 69.56, and we'll come down to the bottom here, 71.33 and 72.32, and so on. Okay, but right now that 200-day is going to be that is the key right there, is that 68.40 level. Okay, now on the downside, you want to watch that 8-day 67.50, and then we want to watch yesterday's low. That's going to be key, 66.45, and then we have the 100-day 65.41, and then we have your 50-day. Okay, now when you look at the UCO, you can see here how the chart is not exactly what you call the same. Okay, it is, but it isn't. Okay, see where we have up here at that 200-day, but we're not here at the 200-day, because see, this rebalances every day, and then you don't get the same effect. So always, always, always chart the actual commodity. Put the chart side by side. So what we're looking here on the UCO on the downside is we're looking for it to hold at 24.28 level, and then we have this 8-day at 23.76 level, and then we have your 100-day at that 23.25, and then we can come down to the 50-day, okay? So they're close, but they're not the same. Now, on the upside here, what we're watching is the top of this candle here at 24.66, and then we'll be shooting for the 200-day at 25.21 level, where right now here on the actual commodity, you are right up against that key level here at 68.40, okay? So for me, this is how I'll trade it, is I'll watch this 200-day. If we close above this 200-day here, okay, and then we close above this top of this candle here, 68.94, that's your long trade, okay? Now, this here was just a day trade, but this is what you really want to get into and say, hey, I'm taking a long because I know I have all these levels here going up, okay? So then what you do is you just compare that to say, okay, where is UCO right now? Okay, that's what you take it. But when you trade against it, you always trade against this. So what you're looking at is these levels right here, okay, versus what you have is on here is like the 200 SMA here, okay? So that's how you trade it. You could chart this, but it's not accurate as trading the actual commodity. Okay, let's take a look here now at natural gas. Okay, here we have natural gas, okay? So you can see here where we went right into that 8-day, pulled right on back. Today, what do? We went above the 8-day, and where'd you go? Right into that 200-day at 3.42. But now do you notice that it pulled right back down, and now we're back below that 8-day, okay? So just because you pop and drop like this, that doesn't mean it's going higher. This is just a trade, okay? So when you look at the UNG here, okay, say on the long side, we're watching this 8-day here at that 14.95, and you can see where it popped right up here again to that 15.50 level, but now we're back below that 8-day, okay? So this is a lot more accurate, I should say, but always chart the actual commodity here. Now, this is an indecision candle so far. So on the downside, you're watching that 332 level, then we'll come down here at 327, and then we'll come down to yesterday's low at that 319. Then we have your retest there at 314. Now, the same thing that's going to be like on here. But again, what you want to watch is the bottom of that candle there, that 1475 level. And then we'll come to the bottom here at 1447. And then we have that 1397. Okay, so what you always do is you just put these charts side by side. And then, because the last thing you want to do is say, oh, it's above the 8-day. This is going higher. Well, not necessarily, because you got the 200-day on your actual commodity, and where did it go? Right into that and pulled right back. Now look where the 200-day, the distance is on the 200-day, because the UNG rebalances every day, and it has that like a depreciation. That's why you always see these ETFs here, especially the leverage ETFs. What they do is they have a reverse split, because of the depreciation, it's like a decay is what they call it, that's coming right on off kind of a situation here. So this is the same thing. So you'll want to watch that 8-day, okay? And then obviously today we wanted to watch that nice 21-day right, or that 200-day right above it, and you can see where it went into it, and then it just could not get through. So you're not looking at this 200-day because look at the distance away, okay? So watch this level right here. If we can get above that 8-day and that 200-day, then we have a nice shot from the 200-day to that 50-day, and then what we do is wherever this price is, that's where you get in, and then we take that long, okay? Now, let's take a look here now at gold and GLD. Okay, here we have gold, and we have GLD. So this is like a 1-to-1, so this isn't really that too bad. It's pretty very similar, okay? So what you're watching here, as you watched my video this morning, I said, okay, it came right on down. We're holding that 50-day, and this is the level that we're watching is that 33.60 level, okay? Now, above that, we're looking at this recent high, 33.76, okay? So right now what you're sitting at 33.72 level, okay? So you have to get above that 33.76 before I would take the trade in GLD. Now you can see here on the GLD, it's pretty close here. We popped above and we're above the 21-day on that, okay? But you notice that this here, this top of this candle here is sitting at a 309 level here. And right now you're sitting right here at 309.18. So you want to make sure that you get above this 309.40 level here before we take the trade. But what the key is watch that top, not only just that 21-day, but this is the recent high right here at 33.76. Once it gets above that, then I will take the trade on GLD. For the simple reason is now, this could be like a double top situation and come right on down. So you just don't, you always want to kind of avoid that kind of situation. So on the downside here, you're watching that 21-day. Then we're going to be watching this key 8 SMA here, and then we have that 50-day rate below it, okay? So we have a very similar thing on here is your 21-day, your 8-day, okay, right there. And then we have your 50-day at a 305 low. Now, I'm not really what you call a big gold trader or silver trader. I'm more like an oil, natural gas, gasoline, and basically technology kind of stuff. That's my trade. But I will jump in here because, you know, you can make some easy money going here from the top of this candle to that 34.76, okay? Which means you could rise up here to this 309 level to that 317 level, okay? So just remember that. But right now, it's not just the 21-day that we're watching, but we're watching the top of this candle on a closing basis. We get above that, then we can get in. Now, again, I might be in there a little bit late. It's no big deal, okay? At least you'll have from that area all the way to that area, okay? From this area here all the way to that level right there. Okay, let's take a look here now at silver. Okay, here we have silver and here we have SLV. Okay, now you can see how silver is moving up here now. Yesterday, I took the trade in SLV for one reason, okay? Because look at this candle right here, okay? So what I was watching is the top of this candle at that 37.40 level, okay? Now, we made just a little bit higher at 37.43, but I was watching at 37.40 because this here was like a pop and drop and came on down. Now, yesterday, when you look at this candle, all you have to do is look up in this area right here, okay? So you look at that high, okay? See that high? You had 37.69, okay? The low 36.57, and it closed at 37.62. Okay, that's what it closed at. So that told me to take the risk, take it in there, and then the risk reward was good enough to jump into the old silver. Okay, so I was looking here for that 38 number. We're above that, and now we're looking here. Next in line is going to be that 40. So we hit that 39. And I'm still in the trade here on SLV, okay? Now, you can see the difference in the trades here, okay? See how it just, this green candle came down and then held it, where this SLV just jumped right on up kind of a situation, okay? But because the reason it does that, because this is a daily kind of chart here, and this is working all the way around 24 hours a day kind of a situation, okay? So even when you look at the RSI here, where you get into that overbought condition, you're not overbought here because these are ETFs, okay? So always remember that. So when you're trading this, again, just always put the actual commodity on next to the SLV here, okay? So that's what we're watching on the upside now is that 39. We get above that, we can cruise all the way to that 40 level is what we're looking for. Now, another reason I always look for different scenarios, okay? Look how nice it's been holding this 21-day, okay? Next one is the 8-day never crossed over. It came right on up. And the third one here is right here. It closed at that 37.62, which was above this 37.40 level, which I was looking for, which would take it higher. Now, yes, it came down. Could I got into it a little bit cheaper? Yeah, so what? Who cares? Okay, you can just take that and ride that right back up here again. So what I'll do is I'm watching on this level here. You're sitting at 34.73. I got to stop there at 34.50, and we'll see how that all shakes out. Now, it could possibly run to that 40 level, which would take the SLV higher. But always, always, always have the actual commodity side by side with what you are trading. Okay, let's take a look here now at Bitcoin and BITX. Okay, here we have the Bitcoin. Now you can see here where we had a nice good pop all the way up here. Now we're sitting at about that 17 area, okay? Now you can see here on the BITX there, I took a little bit off the table there today in pre-market at, it got as high as 64 in regular market. I took it off at 64.20, just some shares, but I'm holding a pile of shares, okay? So I have regular shares and trading shares. But see how different these charts are, okay? So right now here, what we're watching, we have an indecision candle. So you're watching that 450 level on the upside. On the downside, you're watching that 115.53, and then we're going to be watching this top of this candle at 114.380. The reason being, this is the gap fill, okay? So that's the key. Now, when you trade the BITX here, okay? So you look at the big difference in spread, okay? So you have 62.94 on the bottom, and then we have the top of this candle at 60.13 level, okay? So what you do again is just side by side, and we'll see where the Bitcoin actually shakes out today. Now, the afternoon, it's been ripping up here later in the afternoon, and then really ripping up here in after hours, so we got to see how this is all going to shake out here. So right now, we have ourselves an indecision candle. We have a gap up. But when you look at the BITX here, you know what I'm saying? Because this does not, you can trade this 24 hours, but the daily chart doesn't go 24 hours like the Bitcoin does, okay? So always remember that. Now, you can see here the difference is where we're pushing up here, we're not quite there on that area there. They're close, but remember, this is a 2-time leverage fund. You can also trade IBIT, and that's a 1-to-1. It would be a lot more closer than what we have here, okay? So bottom line on the downside is watch today's low, 115.653, and then watch this high at 114.380 level, okay? So you just trade accordingly onto what we have here, okay? Because you look at the past here, see, this is depreciation on how this decays, okay? See where we're sitting at 63. Now we're at all-time highs on Bitcoin, but look at the all-time high over here. It's sitting at 72, and we're sitting at 63 level, okay? See, that's how it depreciates, especially when you have the 2-time leverage. So these are trading vehicles. These are not kind of like a buy and hold. Now, when you get a bullish movement like this, then yes, you can do a swing trade like what I do. And then what I can do is like the 1-to-1, I trade the IBIT. You can take that as a longer term trade because that's a 1-to-1. It doesn't depreciate like this. So that's what I wanted to show you is we're at record highs here, but we're only at 63, 62, 63 here. This is the record high right there at that 72 mark, okay? You see the difference? Okay, so that's what I want to point out to you, that these decay over time, so always put them side by side by side. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here after your open close, and we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, gold, silver, crude oil, natural gas, and we'll take a look at the indexes, which are getting, they're getting hammered. Down about 363. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.